What do you think is going to be the #1 movie of July, Mike? If you had to guess.
I'm going to say Thor.
Remember what I told you. You ever feel lost? Just look into the eyes of the people that you love.
It's going to be Thor.
Yeah.
Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder. I think I had a dream about it last night.
Wow.
Well, like where I was like watching, I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense how they would introduce Natalie Portman, right?
Yeah.
In the dream, it made sense. So I'm like, oh, that'd be cool.
And
And
you
I
woke
woke
up
up.
That doesn't make any sense.
It makes absolutely zero sense. Yeah.
So this will be Thor 4. Plus he's been in 4 Avengers movies.
Yeah. It's a solo Thor.
Solo Thor 4. Guardians of the Galaxy are in it.
Russell Crowe's in it, or some guy that looks like Russell Crowe.
Is he really?
Yeah.
What is Russell Crowe doing in it?
He plays Zeus, I believe. If you look at the trailer, the part where all his clothes get torn off, right, and there's all those like the gods.
Okay.
They're staring at him. I'm pretty sure the one in the middle is Russell Crowe.
Oh.
And then
Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Apparently, from early screenings, I've heard that Christian Bale is supposedly the best Marvel villain yet.
I can totally see that.
Which I would think before this is probably either Thanos or what's the guy from the first Guardians of the Galaxy? I can't remember his name.
Ronan?
Ronan.
Ronan
He was
the
really
Accuser?
good.
I feel like his backstory wasn't fleshed out enough to be considered.
Yeah,
he
not
was
there with
he
Thanos.
he was a cool
Thanos
character.
basically got his own movie.
Oh, yeah.
Infinity War was basically Thanos 1.
Well, no, the whole thing behind a good antagonist is that you can relate to them
Right.
and to like their ideas and
Sympathize
stuff like
with them,
that.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Thanos, yes, is up there because
Yeah.
some of the stuff he said makes sense. It's
That's
just
gonna be
how he
awesome.
went about it.
It's going to be an awesome movie. I have no doubt in my mind. I'm going to force myself to love it, even if it's not good.
I don't think you have to worry.
I don't think I have to worry either. I think it's going to redeem how I felt about Doctor Strange.
Okay.
So, get me back. Get us back on track.
I did hear about people.
It'll be the first one with 4. It'll be the first of the franchises of the MCU to have 4 movies, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Iron Man and Captain America were both at 3.
Yeah.
Now they're dead. Spoiler alert.
Ant-Man has 2 coming out with the third
Yeah,
one.
third one coming. Spider-Man is 3.
Yeah.
There you go. First one to 4.
Didn't even think about it. I know that like comic book nerds have complained about Christian Bale's character and how he looks
Yeah.
compared to the comics, but
Yeah, because he's like
it's supposed to be a creature. It's not like
right,
Not like
a
humanoid.
human. Right. But like if you have Christian Bale, you let him be Christian Bale, basically. I have no doubt if given enough time, he would have become an alien.
he would have
Like he would have
skin grafts.
transformed into another species for this role.
Absolutely,
This is-
100%.
So Thor comes out July 8th. I've already got tickets, actually. This is a big one. Like I'm going with a bunch of people that don't even usually go see movies. And then Nope
Nope.
comes out on July 22nd.
Okay.
It's a Jordan Peele
I'm pretty excited for
movie.
that.
I'm pretty excited. I'm also very exciid for the trailers to stop. I don't want to see
Yeah,
that trailer any more times.
The noise that
It's
is in it.
so stressful. So we'll go by service. So let's jump into Netflix because we already talked about that. Stranger Things 4.2.
Just 2 episodes, I believe.
I think so, right? It's
two
just like
episodes.
it's basically the finale
Yeah.
of season 4.
Right.
We talked about this at some point. I think it's pretty obvious that like they're doing this to keep people from like just signing up for a month and then canceling it. As much as possible.
That probably played into it. There probably was a lot of decisions behind that, but
It's a strange thing to break it up, I think.
It does.
Maybe it happens on July 4th. Like most of the I haven't watched. I'm gonna just watch it all at once. But you know, all the other seasons of Stranger Things have been like around a holiday.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so if you look at them, like I think season 1 is Christmas. One of them's Halloween, I think. And then 3 might actually have been July 4th, I think. But yeah, they're all sort of just sort of in the timeline. They come out in real life around the time that the holiday was set. And so it's possible that like this one is happening around July 4th as well. I can't remember.
I mean,
that's just a guess.
The trailers of the last 2 episodes they look.
Dude, it looks crazy.
Yeah, like if you watch the first season of Stranger Things and then you watch like the trailer for like the last 2 episodes of season 4, it's like 2 different shows.
Yeah. So that comes out this Friday, July 1st. And then I've got a couple of let's see. There's a couple of movies. So we'll see if you've heard of these. So the first one I found that seems pretty interesting is Incantation. So it's a Taiwanese horror movie.
Okay.
That's been getting like crazy awards, like a ton of awards. It's the highest grossing Taiwanese film in 2022, and their highest grossing horror movie ever. Apparently it's supposed to be pretty scary and very like clever, and sort of elements of found footage, but not like the whole thing's not found footage.
Okay.
I guess. But so that's July 8th. That looks pretty cool. And then the big one that is Netflix's most expensive movie ever is called The Gray Man.
What do you know about the Sierra program?
Reckless mystery man you guys send in when you can't officially send anyone else.
The Gray Man.
Have you heard of this?
Ryan Gosling?
Yeah, Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans.
Yes, with the mustache.
Yeah.
Yes.
And directed by Joe and Anthony Russo.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So Ryan Gosling is a CIA contractor running from Chris Evans, who's been sent to kill him because Gosling learned some stuff.
Okay. I'm here for it.
All with it. Yeah, I'll be watching that for sure. That's July 22nd. Getting like huge buzz because of the people involved in it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's so
I mean, I hate Chris Evans for the fact that like he can pull that mustache off. 'Cause he can.
yeah. So jump to HBO. Didn't find a ton of like new stuff coming out. There's a Pretty Little Liars reboot. I didn't watch the original, so I didn't look too much into that. But so there's a couple of movies that have been out for a while that are coming to HBO on July 1st. The first one is Last Night in Soho.
Really good.
Very good movie. That's Edgar Wright. If you've been to the store, we show Baby Driver all the time. That's an Edgar Wright movie.
Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz.
World's End.
Yeah, great. Just awesome stuff. And since he's been doing the stuff without Simon Pegg and what's the other guy's name?
Nick Frost.
Nick Frost. They haven't been as funny, but just, I mean, really good still. Last Night in Soho is a really sort of trippy time travel sort of thriller kind of. It's not really time travel. It's like this girl in present day sort of becomes or like gets linked up with a girl from the past. And it's just shit goes wrong. It's also on July 1st, The Raid 2 comes to HBO. And
those movies are way better than they have any right being.
Yeah, they're if you haven't seen the original The Raid, you could watch The Raid 2 and be fine. They're incredibly violent. They're kind of like John Wick style, but they don't even need any.
I mean,
they don't need that much story, and they just jack the violence.
I would say
through the roof.
Yeah, I would say
like even less story than John Wick.
Dial down the story, jack up the action and the violence.
And they're just incredibly choreographed. They are very graphic, so if you're not into that, like they are bloody and violent, but the choreography is phenomenal. So both of those movies are great, but The Raid 2 is coming out on HBO. I don't actually know if The Raid is on there or not, but the second one is really good. They just basically made the same movie, just bigger. I mean, it's a sequel, but they just do a lot of the same stuff, just more, because they got more money. And then there's a show that I'm intrigued by, but I don't know if you're into Nathan Fielder. Are you?
I mean, he makes me
Nathan
cringe.
for you?
But
Yeah.
he makes me cringe, but he's a genius.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
Yeah.
So he's got a new show coming out called The Rehearsal.
Oh.
And so there's very little details about it, because, like, he's just a weird... He's very...
I love Nathan.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, because, like, it is kind of that, like, cringy, awkward humor, but it's brilliant.
Yeah.
So The Rehearsal is apparently, like, setting up rehearsals for, like, huge moments in people's lives, and then, like, basically running them through it so they can practice.
It's amazing.
But, like, I imagine there will be a lot of twists and, like, obnoxious things that happen. So
If you haven't seen Nathan For You, I recommend watching the episode with the gas rebate, because he, like, offers people a rebate on gas. He's trying to save money on it, or, like, make money for the gas station. But, like, to get the rebate, you have to, like, get in a van with him and, like, take a day trip to the top of a mountain and, like, spend the night on top of the mountain with Nathan Fielder. And, like, some people actually do it. Like, they're just there to get gas, and then by the end of it, they go on a overnight camping trip on top of a mountain just to save some money on gas. And it's awesome.
okay.
Yeah.
So that comes out. That starts July 15th on HBO Max.
Very cool. I'll watch
So
that for sure.
that's definitely worth checking out. So, we'll go to Amazon Prime. I got a couple. There's a movie that I missed in theaters that I wanted to see, and I'm not sure. I didn't really look at reviews, but House of Gucci comes out July 2nd. It's got some good people in it.
Ridley Scott directed it.
Yeah.
Adam Driver.
Yeah. So
Lady
a lot
Gaga.
of good people.
Yeah.
Is it Al Pacino?
Possibly.
I think. So huge. I mean, crazy cast.
Everybody gave Lady Gaga like shit for her accent in the movie, but then if you listen to the real lady that she was playing,
Yeah, it's like dead on, right?
yeah, the real lady, her accent is garbage too. So it's like,
So that was out in theaters several months ago, but I missed it in theaters, so I'll probably watch it, or at least start it and see if it grabs me. But and then I got one that's being sort of touted as like the successor for Stranger Things. And it's on Amazon Prime. It's called Paper Girls.
This is some kind of time travel. We're in 2019. We're gonna get back to 1988.
haven't heard of it.
July 29th. Check out this synopsis. I hadn't heard of it either, so I grabbed the synopsis here for you.
Hit me
So
with
it's
it.
based on the Brian K. Vaughan comic series, same name, Paper Girls.
I love Brian K. Vaughan, so it's good.
It follows. What did he do?
I want to say he did Saga, possibly.
Okay.
Possibly.
Brian K. Vaughan. So follows 4 teen girls in 1988, which may be like why people think of it as the successor to Stranger Things, because it's the 80s. Who get caught up in a war between rival time traveling factions from the future, who are at odds about whether to use time travel to change the past.
Okay. Sounds iffy, the concept, because you know everyone loves
Right?
to
It's
think
like
about time
4
travel
teen
paradox.
girls in the 80s, and then like it just kept reading. It was like time travel war, you know, and like rival factions with different philosophical like thinkings about time travel. Okay.
I trust Brian K. Vaughan to handle it in a way that's easily digestible.
Yeah, so we'll see. It's worth checking out for sure. It's the end of July. Next service, Apple TV Plus. I got one for you.
Okay.
This one's called Blackbird.
Okay.
Comes out July 8th. And I got a synopsis for this one too. Stars Taron Egerton.
Nice.
As a convicted drug dealer who works out a deal with the cops to overturn his sentence if he can get a confession out of an alleged serial killer in a prison for the criminally insane.
I like Taron Egerton.
Egerton?
Egerton? Yeah. He was in The Kingsman?
Yes. First one. Blackbird, July 8th, Apple TV Plus. That's really all I got for Apple TV Plus.
That's okay.
They kind of, they only do their own content, so it's like they don't have the same sort of, like they're not getting movies, like
they
HBO, Netflix.
They hit every now and then. Yeah.
But Hulu's killing it. Lately, I like a lot of FX shows, so Hulu's great. So, What We Do in the Shadows, season 4, comes out July 12th.
If you haven't seen the end of season 3, you should be very excited for season 4 because Colin Robinson, man, the best.
Colin Robinson.
He's the emotional vampire.
Yeah, he's great. But that show is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So that comes out July 12th on FX. So it'll be on Hulu
same day.
Basically right after it airs, right? And then I've got a couple that have already started but are still going that I didn't catch on to in June. Have you seen The Bear?
Yeah, we actually.
Did you watch it all?
We binged it.
Is it good?
It's really good.
Okay, I haven't watched it.
It's really good.
It's the guy who plays Lip from Shameless, right? And he's
still
a
in
fancy
Chicago.
chef, and he gets his brothers comes to run his family's sort of rundown sandwich shop, right?
Right,
so,
because his brother kills himself.
Right.
And then he leaves it to Lip.
Gotcha.
Who is the head chef at the best restaurant in the world, basically.
Gotcha.
And then it's emotional, but it's also funny and it has.
It's
really
kitchen
good
stuff too.
Yeah, if you ever worked in a restaurant or a kitchen, you'll.
That's what we were at a bar last night or yesterday, before the Braves game, and one of the bartenders was telling everybody that worked there that they need to watch it because it was it is awesome. It is exactly what it's like to work in a restaurant.
Yeah, absolutely is. Yeah.
And then actually Chris Lowe from the store here, he pointed me towards The Old Man.
Josh Brolin?
It's Jeff Bridges.
Got my Marvel bag.
And Jeff Bridges and Third Rock from the Sun and John Lithgow. John Lithgow's in it. So there's another one that's former CIA officer. He's retired, and it has to go deal with some stuff from his past because some assassin shows up. He's living off the grid. Some assassin finds him and tries to kill him, and so he's got to deal with all this stuff. It's
every time I hear
it sounds like the exact same movie as the Netflix one we talked about maybe.
Every time I hear John Lithgow, I just automatically think of the
Dexter,
the Trinity Killer, man.
Yo, he's crazy.
Yeah.
Better Call Saul. Final episodes come out July 11th.
Okay.
Or start coming out, I guess, July 11th on AMC.
I heard it's really good.
Yeah.
Still haven't
watched it. I'm gonna binge the whole thing all at once. And so, in video games, kind of a light month. I mean, we talked about this. June wasn't a light month for news. They had a bunch of instead of E3, all these publishers did their own. I don't know if you watched any of the publisher showcases.
I've heard. I don't watch the actual showcase just because I find that they're kind of bloated, but I definitely read about them after.
The Xbox one was cool because they focused on games, only on games that are releasing in the next 12 months, or at least scheduled to. The big one that has gotten a lot is Starfield. We've already kind of talked about that, and everybody was thinking it was going to be Skyrim in space. And it just honestly looks more like
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Skyrim, yeah, is what it looks like. A Bethesda RPG in space, and has a lot of No Man's Sky-ish stuff. A little concerned. We already talked about with the 1,000 planets. That
he doubled down on it, man. Todd Howard, he doubled down on it. He's it was not hyperbole.
They're all procedurally generated, so it's usually in those cases, 98% of the planets will be trash because, you know, just kind of filler. But I don't know. The gunplay looks better than Fallout. Like, it looks more like Fallout than Skyrim, actually. Yeah, because there's guns and it's sort of more techie and that kind of stuff. But I'm gonna play the shit out of it. I already know that.
I mean,
we got a comment last month that we didn't bleep the word.
Did we really?
Yeah.
You got this, Rob. I believe in you.
There were a bunch of games announced and stuff though, so there was some cool stuff. There was some really like not that interesting looking stuff too, like Sonic open world stuff. Everybody's like super worried about because it just looks like they dropped Sonic onto a like stock open world Unreal 5 like map basically.
I mean, if
so
it works,
looks kind of goofy. Yeah. You know, and like the music wasn't like all hyped and like super fast like Sonic is. Like it didn't feel, I guess I've never been a big Sonic fan, so it didn't really bug me, but it got hated on online almost as much as the movie did the first time they showed Sonic. God, that was bad. The only game that I found that I will definitely play is Xenoblade Chronicles 3 comes out July 29th, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2, it's a Switch game, is amazing. The combat system is great, the story is phenomenal, and they just did a remaster of Xenoblade Chronicles 1 as well.
So it could be HD finally?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're so good, but it's this weird game that like I totally spent a ton of time playing and like basically forgot about it.
I remember you playing it.
But the combat system is super deep, where you have to like sort of chain these things intentionally with different elements and stuff to like sort of load up for like basically a huge like critical hit on larger enemies and stuff like that. Okay. So there's a lot of tactics to it, and a lot of sequencing that you have to memorize, because like there's, you know, different moves that you combine, apply different effects, and so you try to stack as many as you can before you trigger it, because like if you have like 4 of these things stacked versus 1, the difference in damage is like astronomical. And the more you try to stack, the more difficult it is, because then if you trigger it, it's great. If you're into like Japanese RPGs and have a Switch, highly recommend it. Another piece of feedback that we got, I always like hearing from people that come in the store that they watch this, because like this is one of the more fun things that we produce in my mind. I really like talking about the content stuff, because at the end of the day, that's why we sell the stuff we sell, is so that the music that you want to listen to, the shows you want to watch, the video games you want to play can look and sound as better, basically, right? As good as they can for the space and the budget that you've got. And so I think, and I think fairly, the store is definitely centered around music heavily. But I think you and I are both farther on the movie side. I think we've talked about this, movie and TV shows and video games, and that's why we've kind of latched on to doing this. Haven't really found the right way to do the music thing yet, but we are working on something like that. We're kind of working on some stuff with Cobuzz for weekly new release kind of stuff like that, to show off some new music. But one of the pieces of feedback that we got from somebody that watches and came into the store was that he was interested in hearing some sort of tips and tricks to improve kind of your experience in terms of video games, and specifically video games, because really movies are not as variable, right? There's not as many like settings involved. It's like you just watch what you've got, and really getting better quality equipment and getting it set up properly, which we can help with here in the store, is important there. But with video games, there's a lot that goes on because of the changing frame rates and those kinds of things. So a couple of tips. We both have Sony TVs. We sell mostly Sony TVs here, so that's what I'm going to talk about the most. I know that LG and Samsung both also offer some really great video game type features. And actually, I think LG right now is the internet darling and sort of the preferred platform for video games. But Sony does a phenomenal job as well, especially if you have a PlayStation 5, because they talk to each other basically. And so the Sony TVs are essentially made to show that, especially the last year's and this year's models are really made to do everything that the PlayStation 5 can do. So for that, you have to make sure that BraviLink is turned on. These are all things that if you want pointers specifically for your system, I'm always happy to chat. Give us a call, come into the store. I can show you a bunch of little tips and tricks for your specific setup. You know, if you're using a PC, if you're using an Xbox, if you're using a PlayStation, if you're using a Switch, you're kind of, you're getting 1080p anyway, so just plug it in. Just plug it in. I have a Switch, just plug it in. There's not a lot going on there. It's a great console. It's just not going to give you what you can get out of a PS5 or a Xbox Series X, or especially a high-end PC. But with the Sony TVs now, 2011 or 2021 models and 2022 models both have variable refresh rate. Firmware updates for the 2021 models, if you have that 2021 models end in a J. If you're not aware of that, the model number will always end in a J. 2022 models end in a K. And once you update your firmware, you'll have, depending on the TV, usually it's going to be two inputs that have variable refresh rate. Usually HDMI 3 and 4. Usually 3 and 4. Which
3 is the eARC.
Yeah, it kind of sucks because if you're using a sound bar or using eARC to get your audio to your surround system, it kind of sucks because you have to use the HDMI 3, which only leaves you with one other variable refresh rate input. Thankfully for me, that doesn't matter. I've only got a PS5. I don't have a Series X, so PS5 goes into HDMI 4. With BraviLink turned on, it's great. I can turn on the PlayStation with the controller, turns the TV on, puts it to the right input. Then I turn the TV off when I'm done with the remote, and it puts the PS5 into sleep mode. Super easy. With eARC, the way my system is set up, I actually get some really great surround sound out of it. But if you're using, I'm in an apartment, so I don't have a wired surround sound setup, which would be better. And if you're doing that, you want to run the PS5 through the receiver in most cases. But turning on variable refresh rate in both the PlayStation 5 and the TV will make a massive difference, especially on action-oriented games like Horizon, like Elden Ring makes a huge difference.
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII Remake. These games that are based on what's happening on the screen, your refresh rate and your frame rate is changing, and so variable refresh rate is essentially the PlayStation and the TV and that Series X can do this as well, sort of talking to each other so that the refresh rate of the TV matches the frame rate of the game in real time, so you don't get any sort of stuttering or jagged, weird screen tearing, that kind of stuff. You also want to make sure that you've got HDR, especially on Sony TVs. Out of the box, your inputs, your HDMI format, there's a setting for HDMI signal format, I believe. Out of the box, all of those are set to standard. And for anything that can do 4K, you want to make sure you get those particular inputs set to enhanced. And again, enhanced with VRR for video game consoles. They also have enhanced with Dolby Vision if you have a nice Blu-ray player that does Dolby Vision, or like an Apple TV 4K or a Roku Ultra.
Series X does Dolby Vision, right?
Yeah, the Series X does, but you'd want to set the Series X one to VRR, not Dolby Vision. Okay. They had two different options. And reason being just for you want the variable refresh rate is a better advantage for the video game consoles than Dolby Vision is for movies and stuff like that. But you could theoretically flip between the two. The VRR setting does lock a lot of settings, like it locks that input to game mode to reduce input lag and all kinds of other stuff. But game mode is also your friend in most cases. I think
For
Samsung and LG
multiplayer, I would say. It
it's input lag. And LG and Samsung both, I believe, support even some more advanced features in terms of tweaking the game mode, where Sony is just kind of you're locked to what their game mode is. So other update, other tricks and that kind of stuff, definitely come see us, give me a call. We're here to help, whether you bought stuff from us already or will in the future, because you find out that we're awesome. Here to help get you set up so that everything works as well as it can. We'll see y'all next month.
See you in the next one. Oh. Bye. Bye.
Why do you sound like that?
Huh?
Don't break that.
This is my real voice. The other one's,
that would be weird.
The other one's my podcast voice.
I'm out.